Silverback Talks. Tonight with us, we have James Polanco. Welcome, James. Let me
Thank you.
first just introduce James to a lot of y'all for East Coasters. May not be familiar with James. James is pulling out of Texas by way of New Mexico. And he is one of our competitors in the upcoming 176 round robin this weekend in Stoneville, North Carolina. So, welcome, James, to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Alan. Really appreciate it.
Well, James, we'll jump right in it. First of all, just tell folks a little bit about yourself, how long you've been pulling and your team, and where you pull out of.
So I pull out of El Paso, Texas, West Texas Arm Sports. It's run by Mark Pettis. I joined my first competition in May of 2017, so it's been a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never seen a table before, never been on one, never practiced, nothing. I saw that there was an event going on in Albuquerque and decided to make the drive 4 hours and just show up and see what it was about.
And you're 30, right? You know what you said the other night in our group chat? You're 30 years old?
Yes, sir. 30 years young.
So 30. So, man, you got to start at 23. Very nice. Yeah, very nice.
24. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice. That's
been
awesome.
On and off since then. Wish I could have been more consistent with it, but yeah, for the last year, it's been real good, hard training. So,
now, have you always been 76? Or did you start at 54 and bump up, or from 98 down?
No, I've always been 65 to 76. When I first started, I think I weighed in at that event at 166 pounds. And I've never really liked to cut weight. So kind of whatever I was at, whatever I was closest to, that's what I would do. And it'll be the same thing for this too. I like to hover around not much more than a few pounds over.
I really don't think there's a couple of y'all that's actually having to cut any whatsoever. I saw Lance Hahn's having to cut quite a bit.
Yeah, not like Lance Hahn.
Yeah. And then I'm sure Joe McGrath is cutting. Joe's as big as I am. So I'm sure Joe's having to cut. But
you're a big old boy. So is it true? He's like 210, 215?
Who's that, Joe?
Joe, yeah.
The one time I met Joe, or the couple times I've seen Joe pull, I would have thought was in the same weight class, and I was a 220 at the time. I'm 209 now. If I was 220, I would have thought he was a cutting 198. He's got big old boulders hanging off his shoulders.
Yeah.
But a heck of a puller. He's one of those, but it's also like you can't help but to think the bigger they are, and like Lance being as big as he is, cut his weight, what's his endurance going to be like? So I think the ones that don't have to cut and walk around, like you and the Damians and y'all that don't have to cut any weight, have a benefit there where you your endurance, I think, is just more likely to be better.
I hope so, because I posted to Lance today. I was wondering how his performance is going to be cutting from that much, man. And then I told him maybe I'll take his methods and cut down to the 54s and see what that's like.
I think he started at 194, and and now I saw posted today he's at 186, which is pretty impressive. 8 pounds in 2 days, and 18-pound cut's not bad for me being a bigger boy. I've been 230, and I've been at 225 and cut to 198 before.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun, but I'm a thicker boy than y'all, so I got a little more to lose. So, and Dalton Whitmire just chimed in. He said, I'm cutting right now, guys. Wish me luck. Knowing Dalton, I'm not sure if that's a shot saying he's sitting on the toilet. That could easily be something he's insinuating right there by his he's cutting right now.
Dalton, I do not wish you luck. I hope it goes miserable for you. So when I see you on Saturday that you're looking in miserable shape, I do not wish you luck.
So I think you're traveling the furthest to Venue 1. You, Taylor, and Greg are all coming from Texas, but I'm pretty sure El Paso's the furthest. And yes. Greg is already he's already local. He's already about 20 minutes from the venue up here with family. So
yeah, with your on your guys' podcast, he was already there, right?
Yeah. He's actually cool, already man. He's in the city I work in every day. So it was probably kind of cool. That's kind of how we came across one another too. He was in town, unfortunately, for a funeral, and he said, "Hey, mind if I show up?" And I was like, "No." And he came in and ran through the whole building.
Yeah, it's a small world, especially with our community. I mean, It's such a tight-knit community. So it was cool seeing that he was going to be part of this event because I think I said it during that podcast. I commented he's been around obviously way longer than
Oh yeah,
I even know what arm wrestling was. So,
yeah.
and especially me being in Texas, also it'll be cool to get to see him and potentially get to pull against him.
Now, have you
So
pulled anyone else that's in the round robin? Have you had?
nobody
I didn't
ever.
think the likelihood is just lower with you being further away. A lot of the
Mhm.
boys in the southeast have pulled each other, and then it's like even Greg, who's been around. He said that Taylor's the only person he's pulled. So,
Mhm.
and I was surprised y'all hadn't ran across each other, both being in Texas, which Texas is kind of big. So, I mean,
Texas is Texas is
um,
like its own little country, man. It's tough, especially me being all the way on the west,
yeah.
away from everybody else. You know.
So tell us a little bit about your training methods, James. You primarily do you do a lot of gym training, do a lot of table training? What do you focus more on?
I like to do a lot of gym training. Recently, I've just been trying to focus on getting stronger. I've always been naturally strong, but I really wasn't living up to my potential
Yeah,
with weights. So I've been trying to up that a bit, but also with I bought the table pulley from the Arm Assassin Strength Shop.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So bought a bunch of weights and a loading pin, and just been trying to go hard on that for the last year. Just get used to those movements and moving heavy weight on that, which is something I never did. I've never been a consistent trainer in the past. I've always worked out, but very casual. You
Yeah.
know, I love being strong, but this last year was really the first time I've ever really been dedicated to training weights, table time when I can, practicing with the guys here in El Paso.
Yeah.
We've got a really good team, so
Now y'all a large team. Y'all have a larger team.
no, very small. Getting bigger though. A lot of
Good.
newer pullers, which is very good. You know, that's
Yeah.
always good.
Yeah.
But we got some really strong guys in our team. Let's see, Freddie Sanchez. I don't know if you know the name Freddie
I've,
Sanchez.
I've heard that name. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with it, but I have heard that name. Yeah.
He's been at it about 10, 11 years now. Real strong, real good puller. He just had a super match recently with Tom Stubblebean there in Arizona, I think. And Luis Alarcon, he just participated in Laray's 198 round robin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you saw him there, and he's real strong too. He's a beast. So we got a real good team and a lot of
That's
newer
real
guys.
nice. Yeah, we're my team. I've said this before on the podcast. We're real green. All of us started about the same time, a little over 2 years ago, and that's what we always say. We don't knock each other going and traveling to train with others because hell, bring it back to our practice. And things you can learn from people with more experience. I don't knock it. If I could have done it all over again, we probably wouldn't have started our own team. We would have joined up with someone first and got with some experienced guys, and
Hmm.
then see where the road took us. But that's how it goes. So
Isn't that funny how that happens? Like, there seems to be some drama when there's cross training between like teams, and you're training with these people over here, and I don't get
yeah, I,
it.
I don't care. Like we're a small team, and it's nothing odd. I went down to the coast of North Carolina, pulled with a team. It's nothing for my guys to hook up and go to another team, and still today we got together just to do some handwork. Three of four of our four of my four of my teammates have super matches in the this weekend, so we're just getting together to do some handwork, and is like there's no animosity towards. I mean, because if they go pick something up there, hell, show me what you learned. I'm
Exactly.
still a
Yeah,
sponge. I'm
I agree.
far from an expert, and I don't think I ever will be an expert. So
Hmm.
drop the egos at the door. It comes with not just the table; it comes with your pride too. Drop it.
Yes,
Just
sir.
there's no sense in it.
I agree.
So we've talked about you got this event coming up this weekend. What's your most recent event? When was the last time you pulled competitively in an event?
The last competition was New Mexico State in March.
Okay, so recent. Yeah, pretty
So
recent.
pretty recent. Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you fare there?
Left-handed. I think I mentioned to you and to other guys, I'm primarily a left-handed puller. Left-handed, I did real well. I got third. Garrett Reese took first, and Ben Bledsoe took second. Two beasts.
Yeah.
Always wish you could do better. Right-handed, didn't do so well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but I respect the fact that you're traveling because now you're going to get some of the best in the Southeast for sure. And then you sprinkling a couple boys from Texas, and then it's Alec Guth from PA, you're really, I mean, you're going
Yeah, that
against
dude's a beast.
studs. So I respect that, taking your shot, traveling to pull the best. I'm kind of in a similar scenario. At the end of this year, I'm pulling in the Great American Bash for Ray's event down in Tennessee.
That's right. Congrats on that.
And if out of the 32 of us, I would have to be the 32 seed if I had to guess. So it's like I'm cutting the 198 for that, but I know what you mean. It's like you want to be the best, go pull the best, take a couple L's. I'd rather take an L losing to some studs than beating up on amateurs. And yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
not gonna
agree.
learn that way.
And I know I'm going to do much better than what my past record indicates on my right hand. So I know I'm going to come and kill it. So really excited.
Well, one thing about this round robin too, we tiered it off too, where you
Mhm.
have, what I hate to say this sounds, but what I believe to be the upper skilled. I didn't really see a whole lot of disagreement amongst our group in our group chat. Everybody seemed pretty content with how things lined up. And then
Mhm.
what we have the second tier, which is not low skilled whatsoever, but what I would call your second tier, which is you fall in that with them boys.
Mhm.
And I know them personally. I'm like, half of them I know would probably beat me, honestly. So it's like I know they're legit too. Hunter Welch, I mean, anytime Hunter Welch is falling in a second tier, that tells you how that's a stud crew. So it's
Yeah, there's a lot of. I mean, that's your boy, and he's got his sponsorship, and
yeah,
I'm really excited to pull him. Me and him have gone back and forth a little bit
yeah.
on.
He's a
Yeah,
great guy. That was one of the things that
yes, that's good.
Hunter's talent's high. Don't get me wrong, but just a stand up guy too. You don't mind putting your sponsorship on somebody like that carries himself well. So
Except he was making fun of me for being 30. The
these
stand-up guy
guys.
giving me crap for being over the hill.
I'm 38, and and you're 30, and obviously Greg's a little older, and these guys are so much younger. I think Hunter is in his low 20s,
Yeah,
23
he
to
said he's 21, I think.
20. Okay, so yeah, these guys and their skills beyond their years too. So
Right. Yeah.
they have that right now. You know what I mean? So
Uh-huh.
just got to
Hope,
humble them, I guess.
hopefully it can humble the youngsters a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. The So how long is your flight? Have you it should be too long of a flight, really, I wouldn't imagine, but
So when we talked last, I think I told you I was getting it at around 11:30 a.m.
yeah.
on Friday. I just checked and it got pushed out to about 1:30.
Okay.
So still good. I
Yeah.
wanted the earliest flight I could take so that, there would be time enough for delays and whatever. So
Like I
should
said,
still be okay.
when you get to eating, you just let me know. I can swing by and I'll get you and bring you to the venue and everything. Don't worry about Ubering and all that stuff. Save some money. It's
Thanks.
literally like 12 minutes from the venue where you're staying, so it's not far at all.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
leaving at 6 in the morning here from El Paso, and
Nice.
then over to Atlanta, and then over to Greensboro. So it'll be a
Very
good
good.
trip.
Well, is there anyone in the I know you mentioned Greg, this event, is there anyone that you're really looking forward to pulling, somebody that you really got your eyes set on wanting to pull in particular?
Your boy Hunter Welch.
Hunter? Yeah.
I'm so excited to pull him,
Yeah.
and I might throw a little side bet challenge his way left-handed if he's up for it.
I'm sure he would. Yeah, Hunter's a
Yeah.
gamer. Yeah, Hunter's a gamer. Danny Atkins just chimed in and he said, nice to see you, James. Be good to meet you Saturday. Danny, I don't know if you picked up, is going to be doing a lot of the commentary. Great, phenomenal guy. You'll love him. He also said, looks like Alan needs to do a left arm 176 next summer. So I know you would probably jump on that if it's a left arm as well. So,
Hey, Aftermath Arms, I appreciate that. That sounds really good. I know
yeah.
this event's going to be a huge success and be a lot of fun, so I'd definitely be back for that.
Yeah, that's one thing we hadn't flirted with yet. This is our third round robin, but
Hmm.
the first two were a road to the pros,
Hmm.
amateurs. I was in the first one where we were high level amateurs, and we kind of saw it as like our last hoorah before going pro.
Right.
And I think all of it. Well, Bradley, every single one of us in the 198 have now went pro. In fact, the one that won it is ranked first in the first or second in the state of West Virginia. A couple are ranked in other states. I was ranked in Virginia for a while before I vacated my ranking, and like it was kind of like our last little, number before we all decided to go pro. So it was pretty cool. And then
That's fun. Yeah.
we did a 242 plus with a lot of heavyweights, and super heavies, and same way. A bunch of them boys went on to get ranked immediately. Actually, the winner of it, who I'm not gonna lie, ran through the competition, is pulling for a ranked match at the this weekend. Jason
Oh, really?
Yost, he's pulling for the number 5 in North Carolina.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a stud, very unassuming looking, and hates the competition. I think Greg mentioned that the other night, like he hates the competitive factor of arm wrestling. He just likes to
Yeah.
train. And Jason's the same way. Jason, I'll see him at tournaments. He won't even pull at tournaments. He'll just be there filming and wanting to after pull with folks because he likes to train, but not.
He just got to be around it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I respect that a lot. I think that's awesome. You know that you that's true love of the sport. That you don't even care about competing in it. You just want to be around it. That is pretty cool.
Unfortunately, I'm like the other side of that coin. I love competition. I've always loved competition. I love to win, always have. And then the training side, I haven't always been consistent in. So I would just show up to tournaments, and however the chips fall, that's how they would fall. But
Yeah,
I love to win, hate to lose. So like the polar opposite of that.
it's funny because I've heard other people say it's like I don't train for arm wrestling. I just show up for tournaments. I don't train. I don't really. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Just because I'm not good enough to do that. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't have the natural skill to do that. I've obviously got to train, but I've heard people say it's like I don't train for arm wrestling. I just do gym workouts and I go to tournaments. And meanwhile, I'm sitting beside like $300 worth of pulley equipment around me that I'm invested in.
It's addicting, man. It's
Yeah.
addicting. You get on that like Arm Assassin Strength Shop and a bunch
Well,
of different websites.
you
You see the
mentioned Arm
handles and everything.
Yeah, you mentioned Arm Assassin earlier. It's funny you mentioned that because Willie, one of our teammates, was pulling this weekend. We went to his house for practice tonight. He's like, "Oh, I got these new uh, gadgets from Arm Assassin. There's like 4 different handles, 5 different handles and stuff." And I was like, "They just it never stops." And then I'm like, "Who comes up with this stuff? How do this type of stuff they come up with? It kills me because I'm like." How do you think that up? You just sitting there holding your hands like, cool. If I had a piece of metal holding my thumb right here, I could really get a
They
good.
do though.
Yeah, I
They do.
know.
Those guys, they do, man. We got some obsessed people in our sport. I mean, myself included. But man, we got some geniuses with all the mechanical stuff that they come up with.
Yeah, we there's a guy that's practiced with us a few times, Stacy James. He's out of Danny. Correct me. Stacy is Ohio, I think. Oh, Danny will correct me on this. I think Stacy's Ohio, but he is the mad scientist. He's always on. He posts on the Silverback Arms Crew all the time with these different tools and mechanisms he's coming up with. And I'm like, where? What does he do all day? He just sits up and engineering this. I
Like
lost.
these contraptions. He's got this implement here tied to this eye and this hook, and he's trying to make it as close to a real human hand and arm as possible. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got lost James.
Oh,
Hey,
I can hear
James,
you.
I can hear you. I can't see right now. Got a question here while you figure that out. It says, Ali Bay from Istanbul said, "Can I train arm wrestling every day? And what do you think about grease the groove method?" I'm not familiar with a grease the groove method.
I'm not familiar with Grease the Groove method either. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you though.
Okay. Well, hey, all the way from Istanbul, but training arm wrestling every day. Um,
Ugh.
you can't train hard every day.
Yeah. Band work. I'll let James knows better than me on this, but I'm big on band work a few days a week, and then hitting some pulley system a couple days, and then really just holding hands with other men about 1 day a week. Really.
Yeah, even once a week can be pretty brutal, depending on how hard you go.
I'm not sure what happened with your camera. I don't know what you might. I don't know if you need to log out and log back in, James. I'm not sure.
There we go. You got me?
No.
No?
No, maybe it's just my camera. I don't know. Danny, can you see James? See what Danny says.
Yeah, I can see me again. It's not frozen anymore. And I can see you too, and I can hear you.
Okay. Well, moving on then, we'll keep going. The event itself, I'm expecting the round robin to, be about 2-3 hours long. And then the um, super matches probably last about 4 or 5 hours. Danny's saying he cannot see they can't see you either. Go ahead and log out and log back in, James, with that link.
Okay.
Sorry, folks, a little technical difficulty, no big deal. We'll get James to log out and log back in. Should be fine. Got the pleasure of staring at me while James gets logged back in. I do want to thank y'all for tuning in tonight. If you aren't familiar with this weekend's event in Stonewall, North Carolina, and James logging back in. There he is.
All right. Cool.
I was just while you was logging back in, I was plugging the event, just telling the folks the gist of what's going on this weekend. We have a 2-tier round robin that James is in, and it's a total of 15 pullers, and they will go to the top 3 from each tier. Will move on to a bracket single elimination for overall winner. So try to put a little money in these guys' hands for making the trip as well. We'll be running 4 tables on the day. Total about 8 to 10 referees rotating in and out. Anybody that's referee before knows that's a lot of work. We've got commentators on these tables with Danny Atkins and Donnie Anderson. Donnie Anderson, another 176. Well, Donnie was a 176. So I think he's pulling 198 now. Boy's put on some size, pure muscle, a lot of size. And then we several ranking matches in the super match event. So if you're in the North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina area, Tennessee, and want to come see some good arm wrestling, it's going to be in Stoneville, North Carolina this weekend, Saturday, starting at noon. So feel free to check out Silverback Arms Crew's Facebook page and get all the event details there. Well, welcome back, James. I think what we was talking about was a little more about the training. It was a great question from Ali Bay out of Istanbul, and I'm with you. One time a week is a lot, depending on your level of intensity. And the one thing I'm getting better at is the smarter, not harder method. Whereas when we first started ripping, we're trying to pin each other, hit each other hard, going ready goes regularly. Whereas I talked to a fellow friend, and he said, hey, we don't go past 10-2. We do no hitting, no pinning. We're working hand. We're working, high strength in the inside game, more or less. And and that's kind of where I've been trying to not necessarily get my team to go, but get them to help me at. I don't need them hitting me necessarily. You know what I mean? I get a lot of my hit training on my pulley system, so I don't really need to hit my guys that way. Although I am for hand-to-hand combat to get used to the hands for sure.
Yeah, and I think it was Rob Vidget Jr. He's one of the ones that says you got to lead the dance. Everything begins right here. Getting hand control, like you said, getting past that 10-2 mark. That is amazing because I know for me in my matches, whether it's a tournament or a super match or a practice or anything, if I can get that, I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah,
especially left-handed. If I can get that hand control in a hook or a top roll or anything, if I can get that, you can pretty much do whatever you want, unless the guy's like just ungodly way stronger, more experienced than you. But that's really important, and I think people get away nowadays from the hand aspect of it because strap pulling is so prevalent now, and just assume that it's going to go to the strap, and they rely on their arm strength, which is important. But I really like the fact that you can dictate the pace and dictate everything with the hand off the go, even in a slow pull, just making it rock strong with your wrist and everything.
We was talking about one of our group chats just a couple of weeks ago about I'd give up a significant amount of strength to have a better hand in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm stronger than most of my opponents in the bicep, especially, but I would give up a significant amount of that bicep strength if I could get a better hand because that's my weakness is my hand, obviously.
So even now, but for most of my arm wrestling career, I had a good clamp, a good finger clamp, and I tended to do better outside the. Not that I have like a big hand or anything; it's pretty average size. But I had a really strong hand and a good connection to the wrist when I got to my spot, and it was kind of the opposite. I needed to get more arm strength and more experience in the strap because I kind of got away. I got away from that in training. But now that I'm kind of like making a 180, like a full circle back, is like, man, I got my rice bucket, got all kinds of different things. I'm like trying to get my hand back to where I want it to be, because nothing feels better than a good hand and wrist. That's where it's at.
Yeah. Isaiah, thank you for chiming in, bud. Thanks for the compliment on the episode. Yeah, glad you guys came about working as well. Brother of Arms, I'm pretty sure it's probably Marshall. Marshall and Mike Bob at one. Tuning in. Thank y'all boys for tuning in, Brothers of Arms. And then Danny had a great question, James. What other American puller would you compare your pulling style to? That's a tough question, isn't it? I mean, you got to be careful who you compare yourself to, because you want to be humble. Obviously, I'm so much like Devin Laird, it's not funny, but
You want to be humble. You also don't want to give away too much of your game plan for the
right.
upcoming.
That's a tough question, man. That it really is a tough
American.
question.
American. Let's see.
I compare my style to like a Dave Chafee. That's what I would compare my style more to, like a Dave Chafee.
Yeah, I saw your super match with was it Nathan
Yeah,
Middlebrooks?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. Yeah, just real strong inside, and you didn't want to go to the straps with them, right?
No, I didn't try to really. No.
Just stay connected and just horsepower, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'm not as good as him yet, but I might say Devin Bear.
Okay.
Everyone knows Bear.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I faced him once in Midland, and that went as about as expected. But I felt a little something there. I
Yeah.
did. Left hand felt a little something. But yeah, I would say that.
Isn't that's motivating though? When you go against somebody that you know you should lose to, and you
Hmm.
know you slowed their horsepower down, or
Hmm.
God forbid you sneak out a win on them in a round. You know what I mean? That's huge.
Oh yeah.
That is huge. I will take a good loss to a stud versus
Hmm.
a win over average puller any day, because that gives me more hope. I mean, anybody can go out and beat up on someone. I'm average. Don't get me wrong. I'm average, but anybody can go beat up on me. But if you was to slow a stud down, it's like, reason to come back and play another day.
And see, that was the tournament that like kind of woke me up. I was so upset with my performance besides that match and how I did that day. I was like, you know what? I've been doing this for years now. What the heck am I doing? I need to actually train and like give it a go, like
Yeah.
give it an actual shot.
So James, you've been doing this for 7 years now. I always like to talk about the arm wrestling community because it's something that's near and dear to me. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the personal stuff on here again because I have several times. But the arm wrestling community itself is unique to any other. I've been in sports my whole life, and I can't compare it to anything. Whereas it's so different from if you didn't arm wrestle, what you would expect it to be. What does the what does the arm wrestling community mean to you, James? And what is? Do you have any specific examples of how it's hit you in a positive manner in life?
I think the number one thing is that with other sports, with a lot of other sports, especially bigger sports, even sports as big as ours, the top guys in our country, the top guys in the world, in no other sport are they as accessible as in our sport.
That is a very interesting point. Nobody else has ever said that. I like
And
that.
I it's one thing that I've noticed over the years, and sometimes I get surprised by the people that I get in contact with and that actually want to talk to me back,
Yeah,
higher guys, like everything's just so accessible, and that's what makes the community feel closer than other sports. It's they don't have any other obligations to try to limit fan interaction, fellow puller interaction, or
yeah.
anything. Get high level guys that have no problem messaging you back with advice, words of encouragement, all of that. And I just think that's really cool about our community.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because like when I was bragging. It's about a month ago to a couple guys I'm close with. I was like, man, check out whose number I got on my phone. I got Michael Todd's number in my phone, and Isaiah Gonzalez, who was one of the pullers. He's a huge Michael Todd fan,
The
and
mon-
he's like, tell him I said hey. He's like, yeah, tell him Isaiah said hey from Raleigh, North Carolina. But no, that's a very good point. It's like, yeah, you're so what's the seven the six of Kevin Bacon? I can't remember where it is, the six something of Kevin Bacon where he's 6 steps from everyone. And with the arm wrestling community, it's even less than that. Like I can easily know James Polanco, who knows this person, who knows this person. I'm four steps away from the best in our sport, and it's a pretty. I think it's called 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, something
Six
like that.
degrees. Yeah, 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. I've never really thought about that. Um, we're getting near towards the our target time, and I always like to end every segment with the same thing. And I really didn't realize you had as many years experience as you have, James. That's impressive that you started as young as you did and still as active as you are and stuck with it. Shows that it's not a fluke hobby. You know what I mean? This is something that you've just become a, maybe not gonna say a way of life, but obviously a big part of your life if you're still doing it 6, 7 years later.
Oh,
Um, what advice would you give a new puller, whether they're male, female, old, young? And I got started when I was 36. What advice would you give a new puller, regardless of their age and sex?
one thing that I've told newer guys is don't be afraid of the pain when you first get started out.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That's what turns a lot of new guys away. They're going to feel a deep tendon ligament pain that goes beyond a muscle soreness when they
You
come.
think something's really wrong with you. Like, you
Yeah.
seriously think you got some serious injuries going on.
Yeah. So, like I said, when I first started, I just showed up to a tournament. And then after the tournament, Mark Bettis, who's our head coach now, he invited me to train with them. I just showed up and I had two matches, 2 or 3 matches each arm, and they went fast. But the next day, for a week and a half, 2 weeks after that, it was like I couldn't even hold a
Yeah,
glass in my
yeah,
hand. It was a different kind of pain than I'd ever felt before, and I had been working out, all my life. Um, but that the competition itself and the fact that I got third on both arms at that event just made me want to go so I could get second and so I could get first.
yeah.
And
If
so
you're
I
already doing
find
that well in your first tournament, what the hell's the where's your ceiling? You know what I mean? What's how high can you go? You know what I mean? Yeah,
exactly. So I think that's what I would say is don't be afraid of the pain. It we all experience it. It'll come and go, but the community, the competition, the all the benefits that you get out of training and competing and meeting all these different people and being part of this, it far outweighs the pain that you're going to feel and experience your first time pulling. So don't
agreed.
be pain.
And it's funny the different levels of pain. Um, I told you, me and my team kind of started at the same time, and we were all going that tendon limit right through here, especially. I remember I was wearing wrist braces for a while. I really thought I had some serious stuff going on, and we all did. And you give it about a month rest, we were having to go 2 or 3 weeks in between practice because we were hurting so bad. We thought we had some serious stuff going on, and the I remember my first super match in particular was probably the most pain I've ever felt when I went to West Virginia and pulled in Beckley. We had a alternating arms. Me and a guy went best of seven, right and left, and I could not take my shirt off or on the next day. It was
Yeah.
that bad. The different levels of pain between a tournament where you could go 0-2, a practice, and then a super match where you're going to best of five, best of seven, giving it your all because that's a one-on-one. You are putting them on the table right then and showing who's the better man. You know what I mean? Anybody can get flashed and lose a tournament match, but a super match is a big deal to me. And I
It's,
remember
isn't it?
it's just different, dude. It's just a different.
Like
That's why I love super matches over tournaments because I like the planning, I like the show, I like the all of that with a super match.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you on all of that. It's just so fun. The one-on-one aspect of it, especially when you're focusing on one guy for
Yeah,
this time, it's like I said, it's like a fight, and there's nothing like it. It's
yeah.
great.
It is. I love a Superman. 'Cause I do like the show aspect of it. I like to talk in the junk with myself and Nathan Middlebrooks. We had an absolute battle in Ohio.
That
We
was
won 5 rounds, and he got me 0-2. And I mean, I'm not kidding. I had to dig deep because I knew Nathan wasn't going to be no joke. And I had to, as soon as we gripped up, I was like, Nathan did his homework. As soon as I felt his grip, I was like, he knows exactly what I'm doing. He had a deep cup in, and he knew I was going to try to spin out. I was like, changed my lane. What? And I didn't have time to think that first round. I was like, he's got me round one. He had me mentally beat already from the grip on round one. I couldn't even think. And I was like, you got to learn on the fly.
It wasn't looking good, but
No, it wasn't feeling good.
but that says a lot about you. It says a lot about someone that can come back from that,
Yeah,
figure something else out, and push through in a super match, best of five. Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, James, I appreciate you hopping on, dude. I'm looking forward to picking you up Friday for early weigh-ins, man. Um, I know I'll talk to you in the group chat before then, but safe travels. If you need anything between now and then, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks to everybody tuning in tonight, getting to know James a little bit, and everybody's going to get to meet him Saturday. Please, I highly recommend getting to make these connections with these guys that you don't get to see much. Get some pictures with them because you never know where James might be here today. It's round robin the stone today. It could be East versus West next year. He could be in Turkey the year after that. So I highly recommend to make these connections with these guys and get to know them. So thank you all for tuning in, James. Thank you so much. God bless all of y'all, and y'all have a safe night.
Thanks, Alan. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.